Welcome to PodApplaud, the Monday through Friday podcast that aims to enable your podcast habit. I'm your host, Seb, and today we are going to ponder about the podcast, Are We Living in a Simulation? Are We Living in a Simulation, or, as an acronym, AWLIAS, is a podcast that tackles the question of its namesake. It's weird and has conspiracy-like vibes, but I'll get into that soon enough. For now, I'll let you know the episodes are between 5 and 10 minutes long. The show doesn't release episodes regularly at all, and maybe it's not even active anymore. It did produce 10 episodes that I'm interested in probing into, though. So, let's get into it. If you listened to my Extraterrestrials review, you may remember me saying the narration felt like two robots going back and forth, one sentence at a time. Well, AWLIAS has taken the cake here. There is only one voice, and it is an actual, fully synthesized robot voice. Think Microsoft Sam, or a text-to-speech program. This voice might remind you of those terrible anonymous videos on YouTube. Perhaps it is the same one. For a few episodes, the creator of the podcast put in some more work in an attempt to make the voice more interesting, but ended up abandoning that idea. There are still some poorly advised audio sound effects in there as well that kind of trigger at awkward timing. There's the boom, boom, oh no, like it's going down sound effects sometimes. And then there's the like alien noise sometimes as well. And they kind of just go off randomly. Speaking of randomly, there is also a YouTube channel that posts videos, but the videos just have randomly overly saturated and colored pixelated pictures that only roughly relate to the ideas that are being conveyed. To be perfectly frank, the whole production side is kind of a mess. As for the content of the videos and podcast, how does that fare, you might be asking? Passable, I suppose. Some of the ideas are interesting, and it can be fun to fall down a conspiracy-like rabbit hole time to time. But there isn't physical evidence backing the issue, of course. The only real argument is probability. Just how people say aliens must exist due to the size of the universe and sheer unlikeliness that we are alone, people claim our experience must be a simulation for similar reasons. One thing that does concern me is although podcast and YouTube are both very notorious for taking ideas and investigating them from new angles, adding to the experience via personality of the host or making the material more accessible by visuals or breaking down the content, AWLIAS feels more akin to pirating content than other podcast and YouTube channels because its production doesn't add to or transform the ideas very much. There is obviously a script, and it does make the ideas a bit more digestible. On one hand, it makes the show feel kind of cheap, but I guess on the other, it could make you feel like a bad boy, edgy rebel, I guess. Well, here on PodApplaud, I rate shows on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is silence, 2 is a slow clap, 3 is applause, 4 is a round of applause, and 5, of course, is a standing ovation. I'd give Are We Living in a Simulation a 2 out of 5. There's plenty of material on YouTube that breaches this topic in a more enjoyable way. The robot voice is an interesting idea, but ends up reminding me of Anonymous, and by extension, 14-year-olds doing cybercrimes from their parents' basement. I don't plan on listening to any more of this show, nor do I suggest anyone else give it a go. I will say, that looking into simulation theory, I happened across a really cool website, simulation-argument.com. If you're interested in the subject matter, check that website out. If you absolutely must listen, run some documents on that site through a text-to-speech program, and you'll be doing just as well as listening to this podcast. That's been the show for today. I hope you found it valuable. If you wish to reach out to me, you can find me on Twitter at PodApplaud or send an email to podapplaud@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and please tune in again.